Hi everybody, my name's Jana Pop and I am just so happy to be with you today. I get to share with you a few piano teaching tips, and specifically I'm going to share with you 4 tips for teaching elementary students online. I have moved my studio in the last couple of months to completely online teaching because of necessity, and I've learned a lot of things, but I've found that there's specific challenges for elementary students that I would like to share with you today. You might think that your parents know exactly what to do, but they feel sometimes as lost as you do. So I usually send a very specific email preparing them. So the first tip is prepare your parents and your students for the lesson. In that email, these are the tips that I give them. Choose an electronic device. It needs to have internet access, a camera, and a microphone. And so this could be a phone, an iPad, or a laptop, something like that. Set up the device so that the camera view is showing their face. I have one set up here for myself, and also the keyboard in their hands so that you can critique them during the lesson. This is really important. Make sure that the device they're using is plugged into a power source, because video content takes a lot of battery and you don't want the lesson to die halfway through. Have all of their lesson materials close at hand so they could actually get them by sitting down at the piano bench. You don't want them leaving the room and you lose 5-10 minutes because they're lost in wherever they are. This, of course, could be books, assignment sheets, pencil, whatever you think you'll need for the lesson. And then finally, have them prepare the lesson atmosphere so that it's free of noise and free of siblings and distraction. These tips are really helpful for parents and students. The second tip I want to give you is to prepare yourself to teach online. We all prepare ourselves and use assignment sheets and different things to get ready for a lesson, but there's an extra component in online teaching that you have to be super careful that there's no dead space, because you lose people that are looking at a screen very quickly. So when I'm preparing for an online lesson, I use an assignment sheet, and I just grabbed this as a sample copy for a young elementary student. And so I look at the assignment sheet from the previous week, and knowing the student, I determine a new assignment sheet for the coming week, and then I use it as my lesson plan for the most part of the ordering. And I think through the rest of the ordering and make sure that there's no transitional time that allows for dead space or anything like that. The order then is the order of the lesson that I go in. And so, for example, if I was using this with a student, I would probably start with some kind of theory or technique point, a difficulty that they would see in the new piece that they're going to learn away from the music, and I would show that to them. Then I would review the technique that they've been working on for the week. So in this example, it's some 5-finger scale patterns and chords. Then I would work with them on their repertoire assignment, which in this case would be lesson pages 12 and 13. And then we would work on the new piece, and we would incorporate the little technique tidbit that we had started with. As soon as the lesson is over, I take the assignment sheet and I scan it and I attach it to an email with some further instructions, and then maybe some fun things like a link to an online music game, a coloring sheet, or other types of things, and I send it right away to the parent. And that's my way of handing the assignment sheet. You want to keep the lesson as similar as possible, so that's a way of handing an assignment sheet and different materials to the student as they leave their lesson. So tip number 3, use your person, instrument, and device, your recording device, to benefit the teaching experience. So when we teach elementary students, we're usually very active in the lesson. We demonstrate at the piano, we sit at the piano beside the student, we manipulate maybe their hand position, we count, we clap, we do all of these things. So we have to be really careful that when we teach a remote lesson to an elementary student, that we don't remove that hands-on approach. And that kind of approach is obviously the best for this age and this level. So how do you do that? I have this set up, and it's way too close to me. I wouldn't normally have it so close, but I want it in the camera angle so you can see it. But I personally use a tripod. You wouldn't have to. You can use a tripod, but you can use a music stand or any kind of table that your device won't fall over and be distracting. But it should be set up. I found that my best teaching is when I set it up so that the student can see my face, but also see my piano keyboard and my hands. So I set it up to the side of me and then I can use it. When I open the lesson, I am super smiley and interactive, just like they were walking in the lesson, and that's the point of contact. But I don't waste any time. I get right to the instruction material. And I want to show you just a couple of how-tos, not the full lesson, but a few how-tos using this example, this lesson example that I told you. So I might initially take my handy-dandy note cards. You probably all have these too. And as long as I know where the camera is on my phone, I can go right to the camera and I can say, okay, quick, name that note. And we just name all the notes right to the camera, okay? Then I might use my my whiteboard, my dry erase board here, and I probably would take the time to write on it and do some theory instruction. But for the sake of time right now, for the particular lesson we're talking about, I wrote out what they already know, and that's the interval of a fifth. And I would talk about how we can change one of the notes up or down a step if it's the bass and create a sixth, and we would talk about the relationship of the sixth, and I would hold it up and I would talk about it into the camera. That's how I would use my device and my materials. Next, when I look at the piece that we're going to learn, this piece from Faber 2B, it's called Boxcar Rumble, I noticed at the very beginning that there's a pretty challenging component right here that has a whole string of six intervals of the sixth coming down from an octave, and I don't want them to see that the first time in the music. So before they even see the music at the very beginning of the lesson, I manipulate my device. Now, when I first started teaching online lessons, I pretty much left this here, and I still do it for the most part for more advanced students. But elementary students really struggle, especially with positioning and knowing where their hands go if all you can do is talk. So I learned something and I want to share it with you, and that is during the teaching, I carefully take my phone from wherever it is, in this case a tripod, I put it down here right above my hand, and then I can talk about positions. So I say something like, here's middle C, take your right hand thumb and put it here on B above middle C. Can you do that? And then I look and I check and make sure that they are. And then I say, put your right hand 5 here. Now I'm going to play a sixth interval. Do you see how that's a sixth? My turn first. You do it. Ready, set, go. And then I listen and watch. And then I might say, now we're going to play it down by step all the way an octave. My turn first. And then I help them find their spot. Thumb on B, 5 finger on G. Your turn. Ready, set, go. And I watch them and watch how they do it. And we might do it a couple of times. And then I might add in the 8th note, the problem here. And I don't know how you use rhythm, but I use, at this point, I'm still using Jello. So I might say, watch and listen. Jello 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And then I have them do it back. And this is a way they can see exactly where my hand position is. And then in an elementary lesson, I go back and forth from the tripod to manipulating the phone over and over again. Also, for saving time, I talk a lot while I play. I do this in regular lessons, but even more online. So in the transition between what I just did, I might say, okay, are you ready? We're gonna do a C5 finger pattern. Get your hand in C position. Ready, set, go. And then that helps me demo at the same time that I'm instructing, and I'm not losing them at all. And even the most energetic children can stay right with me in this online format. Finally, tip number 4, close the lesson with the same enthusiasm that you started the lesson, but make it brief and have a clear and concise ending. You want to treat the online lesson with the same professionalism that you would in your own studio or your home. And so you probably don't want a virtual house tour, or you don't want them to show you all of their pets and their stuffed animals on their recording device. So if you treat it professionally, they will treat it professionally too. There are many other things to talk about, but these are 4 of what I've considered maybe the most important things that I've learned in this online teaching situation, this COVID-19 situation. And I hope that you can use some of them in your own teaching, whether you teach virtually or not. Thank you for listening and tuning in today, and I hope you have a great day.